Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. We are here with somebody that is just fantastic. I've been skimming her book. I've been watching almost all of her YouTube videos. It's Miss Renee Jones, or Jones, as we were joking off microphone here. But Renee spent 40 years on the diet yo-yo before overcoming her blocks in 2012. With a master's in counseling, she now coaches and speaks. Her book, which if you hang around, which I know that you will, it's called What's Really Eating You. I'm going to have a free book giveaway at the end, so make sure you stick around and catch these knowledge nuggets that my good friend Renee has. You know, she's a TEDx talk speaker, which I watched that on her YouTube channel as well. Make sure you go over there after this interview. And it has over 500,000 views, and it's just fantastic. And her company is Pack Your Own Bag, which I really want to dig into that as well. And Renee, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Green.
Green.
Followed very closely by pink, but green,
okay,
because my hair is red, my eyes are green, and it just makes things pop.
It's in your color wheel for sure. You're a gorgeous redhead. Like I can see you rocking the green and making that pop. That's fantastic. So let's get into a little bit of this past. Like we talked off mic that, you know, I do coach people a little bit after they go through a care for maybe some eating issues or weight issues and stuff like that. But I really want to dig into yours and kind of really see and hear your story and share it with our squad of listeners here.
Okay. Well, my first diet was when I was 10, because I looked around and I was the only redhead. And don't rag on my mother. She was trying to help me. And I looked around at all my little friends, and they were skinny, blonde, brunettes. And I was the only redhead. And I was the only one who was that chunky. Okay. And I thought, I don't want to be this different. I was a bit young to be that different. So I said, Mom, can we do something? And she said, well, you're awfully young, but we can try. And that began the yo-yo that lasted for all those 40 years. Because, you know, we'd start out well, like most people. We started out well, but then something would happen and we'd get off it, or I'd get upset. And food was so soothing.
Ooh, it is.
It just became the thing to do. So, you know, when you eat for emotional reasons, it adds a lot of calories.
Wow. That's so true. That is so true. With emotional reasons has a lot of calories. Let's dig into that. Let's open that up a little bit, if you don't mind, Renee.
Sure.
You know, I've never heard that before. You know, I'm actually writing that down, squad, and you should too. So let's dig into that. Where was it, as you went through, would your identity shift as you started going to these yo-yos where you're like, damn, I look good, I feel good? But did you have almost an imposter syndrome while you're doing that, knowing that you're just going to go back to the down part of the yo-yo?
You know, I don't think in those early years, and I would say up until I was in my 30s, that I had enough confidence to ever look and say, wow, you look good.
Okay.
Right. I think when you have been heavy and up and down so much, it's very difficult to see yourself.
Sure.
In fact, I saw a picture when I was speaking at a conference, and I was standing next to someone, and I thought, wow, who's that skinny lady? And it was me. And I was like, oh, yes, I did lose the weight. I'm not the heavy one anymore. So I think it's something that I catch myself on now and think, no, you're doing well.
Wow.
But at that time, no, I just wasn't aware. I mean, I knew that we would eventually go back to it. And that's part of the problem, is we leave that door open.
It is. And you almost go into that superhero syndrome where, and the reason why I can resonate with this, because I was a really skinny kid, right? Super skinny. And then I went in the military and everyone's lifting weights. And I'm like, oh, and I was just like the joke of the weight room. It's like, I'm proving you. And then I got the body that I felt I wanted. And then I got out of the military. I'm like, oh, it's all about making money now. And all that, with that money comes those calories of all the buttery food, taking clients out. And I ballooned up to 315 pounds. And so what's funny is that I don't see myself as and now I'm in the 240s and I feel good, and I'm 50 years old and I'm rocking it. Right. But at the time I just felt like, wait a minute, who's that big guy in the picture? It was a skinny dude before, you know? Yeah. And so I can totally walk that parallel, just from different ends of the spectrum, if you will. No, I really appreciate you explaining it like that. So with that being said, did you have a lot of family support during this time? I heard you say your mom, but was there some family support during these like kind of the yo-yo years that were trying to help you stay on track?
To some degree. I mean, I think there was an element because my mother was heavy.
Okay.
Her mother was heavy. Her mother before her was heavy. And it was almost because my grandmother had a lot of sisters and only a couple of brothers.
Okay.
And it was almost like competition. If you actually lost your weight and stayed there, you were betraying the tribe.
Thank you for saying that.
We're stuck.
Waiting for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there was almost like that crab in a box syndrome, right? Where you're starting to climb out. They're like, no, Renee, come back to the comfort, right? And they're not doing it out of a place of hatred. It's more of a, dude, this is uncomfortable for us.
Yeah. And be a part of us. You know, be with us. And here's some cake that I know you love, which I did. Yeah. And, you know, willpower being what it as useless as it can be.
Sure.
You'd fall.
Right.
Easily.
Love it. So that's so good that we are like brothers and sisters from different misters. I'm telling you right now, it's crazy. So do you work with people one-on-one or in group settings?
Yes, both.
Okay, perfect. So when you let's take some of your discovery period and they're coming to you and say, you know, Renee, I'm looking, you know, to level up and whatnot. You start that discovery period. What is it? If there are any secret sauce, if you don't mind sharing, to maybe help them find that blind spot?
Yeah, I often ask them to think about the specific foods that they eat. And, you know, you can do an exercise where you just think, what is it that I often go to? And if you think about it, you can see it, you can smell it, and you can almost taste it. Yes. It's that food that does it for you.
Sure.
And then when did you first have that? Do you remember the first time you had it?
Right.
And then, you know, they can come up with something
every time.
And then I ask, who gave it to you and what was going on? Wow. Because for me, the food was peanut butter, and peanut butter is a perfectly lovely food in appropriate quantities.
Sure.
But I found that sometimes when I would get upset, I would be circling the refrigerator, going back to the peanut butter jar.
Right.
And once I worked out that, oh, that's that connection I had to my grandmother. Because she was the one who was always supported. I never questioned whether or not she loved me. And she was so proud of me for not doing much. She was just so encouraging. And I found, okay, you're going to peanut butter to get that love and encouragement.
Sure.
And she's not in that jar.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So I had to think, right, so how do I now get that kind of love and encouragement?
Sure.
In a better way, a more effective way, a way that will last for me, not just something I swallow.
So you dig in during that period with somebody.
What is their food?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's like, it's such a kind of a rear view mirror. You know, when I'm saying it's like you have your dashboard of your car, which is the future. Before you take them there, you're looking at that rear view mirror, not having them actually live there, but really discover what was there to pull them forward. I love that. I've never freaking heard this.
If we don't find that, then it can continue to drive the car.
Wow.
And what's fascinating for me is for men, oftentimes it's ice cream.
Oh yeah.
And particularly ice cream at night. Well, and if you think about it, a lot of men played sports as children.
Sure.
Little League, all of that. And if you won, you went out for pizza.
Absolutely.
But if you lost, you went for ice cream. Or when mom and dad wanted to take you out to tell you some bad news, they usually bought you ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a reach back to that time when you were soothed and felt cared about.
Right.
Even if things hadn't gone well. So no wonder we go to those foods.
Right. That's beautiful. Beautiful. The way that you're explaining this. So like, I know that so many people have a foot in the future, a foot in the past, and they piss all over the present. Right. And with your with your program, if you will, what do you do? Because they see in the dashboard what they want to become. They know where it came from. What do you do really to help them level up in that present moment?
You have to stay in it. And some of that is recognizing, what is it I'm putting in my mouth? And I tell people, no more eating on the run. If you are in motion, do not eat.
Wow.
It's important to sit down at your table if you can, not in front of the television.
Right.
And be present with the food that you're about to consume.
Love that.
Because if you don't, you'll be so distracted, you won't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you're not enjoying your food, you may as well be eating celery. A lot fewer calories that way, and it has crunch.
Yes. Yes. Wow. That's so, yeah, because you get so lost in what might be on the television, or while you're driving, just feeding because you're doing your multitasking. If you could actually sit there and enjoy the food that's going in your mouth, it makes more sense. It can actually psychologically help that food digest a certain way to help you as well, which I've been told. I mean, I do it now. I slow down and I really taste my food, which I'm finding that the satiation, it's like I get fuller faster when I do that. So I'm not just love it.
Because you're in the present, in the moment with that food, tasting it, experiencing it, and you don't need as much.
Right.
I mean, my grandmother, God love her, she made the best pies. And so often we would be sitting around the table and just going through it really fast. And then, of course, you get finished and you're like, well, I didn't get to taste that.
Right.
I need another piece.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. So good. So good.
And Scott, this is a really good way to burst through a craving.
Okay.
Because if you will sit down with the food rather than eating it over the trash can or a sink, got to get rid of the evidence, right? Of a craving. If you will sit down, put it on a plate or in a bowl, use the appropriate fork, knife, spoon, whatever it is you need, and just enjoy it. Yes. A, you will enjoy it.
Right.
B, you're giving the food the same honor that you're giving that craving.
Oh my gosh. That is the same honor as craving. Wow. That's beautiful. And when you're slowing down, you're right. You just enjoy it and you get fuller faster. That's amazing. Yeah. So Renee, when you're starting to work with somebody, then is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Probably, how do I maintain my goal? Because that tells me they're not looking for a quick fix.
Yes.
Or another one might be, why am I so afraid of succeeding?
Yes. Wow. What do you find with people being afraid of succeeding?
Very often it was taunting or some form of abuse that they've experienced. I know a lot of women who had various forms of sexual assault or just inappropriate behavior. Yeah. And they gained weight to build protection around themselves.
I never thought of that. Like even physical protection for them, not just emotional where, if they're abused, no one will want to touch me, but also physical protection maybe as well, that they could defend themselves if need be, which all goes back to unhealthy. That's a bad term, but like something that's just not serving them.
Right.
In the sense. Okay.
Something that's not healed.
Renee, this is awesome. Oh my gosh, this is amazing the knowledge nuggets you're dropping. So speaking of that, let's go back. Have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
I've seen snippets of them. Yes.
Marty McFly gets a DeLorean. He goes back in time, right? So let's get in that DeLorean with Marty. Okay, let's go back to the double deuce, the 22-year-old, Renee Jones. I don't know if it was Jones, but Renee, 22-year-old. What kind of knowledge nuggets then would you drop on the 22-year-old Renee, maybe to help her level up, shorten the learning curve, and blast through? Not so much change everything, but maybe help her along her journey.
Relax. You're doing great. And trust your intuition. It will not fail you.
Wow. Trust the intuition. So would she have listened?
Yes, I think
Really?
she
Okay.
would have. I think she would have eaten up the. I'm doing great, yay! And
No pun intended there, right? Eating up. I got you to smile. I love it. I love it.
and the intuition that she was aware because of her faith, she was
Sure.
aware of that.
Yeah.
But it was it might have been like, yeah, but it was my idea, surely.
Sure. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So how do you want your dash remembered then? That little line in between your incarnation date, your expiration date, your life date, and your death date, which hopefully is a long way down the road. But how do you want your dash remembered?
She lived, loved, enjoyed learning, and loved a really good conversation.
Lived, loved, learned in combo. Man, that's a life well lived right there.
Yeah, I think so.
Really get into it. So what do you think then, Renee, people misunderstand about you the most?
How much and why I need solitude.
Wow. Okay. So you like your time alone?
I do. One of my favorite things is if I have to take my husband to the airport, I drop him like on a Saturday. I come home and I don't leave till I go pick him up the next weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have like a week sabbatical where you just kind of dig into Renee then?
Dig into Renee, work, things that I need concentration to do without all the distraction of social.
Okay. I love it. I love it. And thank you for being transparent with that. Like I will go into, luckily, I mean, I'm looking at the Atlantic Ocean right now. And that's my sabbatical. I go out every day. I'm in the ocean 7 days a week just because it's the biggest Epsom salt healing bath that you can get into, you know? Yeah. So, but I have to have my 15 minutes of solitude daily. Well, my pit bull will join me every once in a while, but actually every day. He doesn't want me to go out there alone anymore. But so then what keeps Renee up at night?
The thought of people who are hurting that I haven't figured out how to help yet. Wow. You know, she's stuck on this. What can I do to help her move from here, even from here to here?
Is the most of your clients women, if not all?
I would say 75%.
Okay, very good. So you do let the men in there a little bit.
Yes.
No, I feel you. I thank you for doing that. So kind of let's go back to what I had said about life we'll live. What is your definition of life we'll live?
I think it is that actually living as you're alive and not waiting for tomorrow.
Yes.
I think it's loving people as much as you possibly can, because we can use a lot more of that.
Yes.
Continuing to learn. I think that's just so important.
Key, so key. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. I just love really good conversations. I could, and they don't even have to be in person. Like
this one.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So let's take out of this equation any electronic devices that we have just across the board. What are three things, and they can be people, places, or things. What are three things that Renee can't live without?
Connection and relationships.
Yes.
Solitude. And tea.
You and I are so right there, because I have prayer. It's like I have to have that. I have to have books, right? Just so I can continually feed. I have to have connection. And then I usually throw chicken wings in once a month minimum. I can't live without that either. I love it. I love it. I love it. And squad, we are going to take my really good friend here, Renee Jones, through our leveling up lightning round just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. Time to shine today, podcast Varsity Squad. We are back, and Renee, you and I could talk, and we probably will one day, which I'm speaking in Texas in 2 months. So in the Metroplex area. So maybe we can connect. But you and I could talk 15, 20 minutes on each one of these questions, but you have 5 seconds to answer it with no explanations. And they all can be done that way. You ready to level up?
Sure.
Let's do this. Love this. What's the best leveling up advice Renee's ever received?
Listen to your intuition.
Yes. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
My morning routine of walking, reading, and then prayer and meditation.
We are so. I always say get busy. I get up, I get hydrated, I get moving, and I get lit. Meaning like, out in the sunlight, get moving, hydrated, and meditate. I love it. I love it. So other than your book, what's really eating you? If you see me walking down the street and you're like, man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums, what book might you hand me?
Beautiful Outlaw by John Eldridge.
I've never heard of it. Donnie, put that in the show notes, please. Okay. Thank you. Awesome. What is your most commonly used emoji when you text?
That thing with the hands.
Gotcha. And you even did it. I love it. So, nicknames growing up?
Radar,
really? I'll let you expand on that. Why is that?
the MASH character.
Oh, really?
Because I would watch what people were doing, and they'd be looking for tape, and I would just hand it to them.
I love it. So, any New Year's resolutions?
This year, my New Year's resolution was to deny the lesser parts of myself and build the good ones.
That is strong. That is strong. I love it. So, chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Oh, checkers. You can have a good conversation while you're doing it.
I love it. Monopoly gets too competitive for me, and chess I'm no good at, but checkers, you're right. You and I could have a cup of coffee and play. King me. All right. So, speaking of ice cream, what's your go-to ice cream flavor?
I love vanilla.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay. So there's a sandwich named the Renee Jones. What's on that sandwich?
Oh, stacks of meat.
Yeah. Love it.
A little cheese and lettuce and pickle.
Love it. Like right there too. I have to add some man candy, aka bacon. But
bacon. Bacon is meat.
That's meat. You're right. You're 100% right.
Okay. I have to say, a day without bacon is a day wasted.
Yes, it is. Yes, I love it. Favorite charity and an organization like to give your time or money
to? My church, as well as for a little lighter topic, Merlin's Hope Ragdoll Rescue.
Oh wow!
Which is for cats.
Oh, nice. Thank you for doing that. I have 2 rescue kitties and a rescue pitty that I have. I love it. So, you can expand on this one even more, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
80s.
Yeah, right there. Big hair, don't care. I love it. I love my 80s.
And I did.
I had the mullet. No, I can't deny that. I graduated in 1990. So it's like I had that whole 10 years of fun, a decade of decadence, I guess they might have called that. So, Renee, let's talk a little bit about your book, What's Really Eating You, please.
Okay. It's a book. It is partly my journey of how I got to losing weight, how I got to where I was and how I could lose. Okay. And then within the stories and the information, I was trying to create something that if someone couldn't afford coaching,
sure,
they could go through that and answer the questions.
Wow.
And hopefully do their best to handle it for themselves. Who
should be picking up this book?
Anyone who has so had it with the diet yo-yo, and they just want to break it.
Love it. I am going to I'm going to have a book giveaway, which Renee has so graciously agreed to sign personally to you. For anybody that puts in yo-yo into any of our comments, whether it's Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you put it. If you hear this, because you've listened deep into our show, which we really appreciate that. If you put yo-yo in there, I'll make sure that we get a book out to you on Time to Shine, today's dime, but Miss Renee will sign it and get it rocking. So, Renee, is there anything else that you're kind of offering our squad of listeners right now with services?
Sure. I have a video that I'm offering, and it's called The Compass. And it helps you figure out how to set your goal and get there.
Wow. That's beautiful.
And that's at packyourownbag.com/friends.
Got it. Donnie, put that in the show notes, please. Thank you, brother. Renee, do me one last solid, please, and leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Okay. So I say it's not hard to overcome emotional eating. You just have to get the hang of it. And hang is an acronym. So the H is, am I hungry? And if you are, you may need to go get something to eat. But if you're not, A, what is the attraction to food in that moment? The N is need. What is it that I actually need other than food? It may be, just to walk around the building. It may need a hug or play with the dog or something. But what do I need in this moment? And then the G is go. Go get that, because that will soothe you more than food ever possibly could.
I love it. I love it. It's almost like a pattern interrupt that kind of gets you to leveling up. So is the H, did you say hangry?
Hungry. Well, hangry would work too, but hungry.
Got it. I love that. I love it. And squad, we have literally, I was telling Renee off mic that I do this a lot for selfish reasons. And this, for my own self to level up. And I know that she's just leveled you up as well. And that, that emotional eating in reasons has lots of calories into it. So go back and listen to that part. Like she'll take you through. She's a coach and consultant that listens not only with her ears, but all the other parts of her body, which I call listening with your neck. She really leans in and she's going to find out that specific food that you remember the most and who gave it to you. And that can really be a crutch. And someone like Renee can really help you get over that, and she wants you to stay in the present moment and know what is going into your mouth at all time. And remember, when you're in motion, don't eat. And that includes sitting in your lazy boy watching TV. Really sit down and be present with your food. Taste your food. The satiation will come, the fullness will come, but also you're going to feel a hell of a lot better with yourself. Honor the food that you're craving, but don't give into it at all times. The cravings, honor all food. There is really no quick fix, okay? And make sure you ask someone like Renee or whatever coach that you're going to how to maintain that goal. All right, squad, don't just get there, but stay there and continue to level up from there. She will tell her younger self and also wants you to tell yourself, no matter what age you are, that you are doing great. Trust your intuition, continue to learn. And if you are stuck, get your asking gear and reach out to us. And I would be happy to put you in touch with Renee if something you're stuck on is emotional eating or whatnot. And Renee's going to be remembered as somebody that is planted trees, squad, that she's never going to sit in the shade of. All right. She's lived, loved, learned, and she craves conversation. And I love this last 30 minutes. She wants to be remembered also as somebody that got busy living, not got busy dying. And that's by stealing from the Shawshank Redemption. I live my life like that as well. And it's just, I love to be aligned with my good friend Renee here. That don't make sure you deny the lesser parts of yourself and really embrace the parts that help you level up. And it's not hard to get something done if you have the right person in your life, in your squad, in your tribe, and who you surround yourself with. And she really broke that down in the acronym HANG, which is hungry or hangry. The attraction and what makes you attracted to that food you probably shouldn't have. What food do you really need to help you level up? And go get that in and enjoy it. And my good friend Renee, honey, you've earned your varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. You're humble, yet you're hungry in a good way. And thank you so much. I can't wait to collaborate with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Talk soon. Love your guts.